Are we ready?
Ready, Freddy. I
Sweet.
should have named Freddy.
And that was
My
live.
dad.
Hey, everybody.
That's my
It's Friday. It's me and Alex, and Alex's sister. Which sister's name? Sorry.
Ari.
Ari. Hey, Ari.
Actually, if you really want to get in good with her, call her Ariel. She loves
Okay.
it.
Hi, Ariel. We're
Like,
going to have you on the
like,
show today. It's an office hours day. We're going to be talking about. Are we ready? Oh, see, look at that. Who's got it
Ready,
playing? Who's got it
Freddy.
playing?
I
Sweet.
should have named Freddy. You.
It's me. Every time you
Hi.
refresh the YouTube page, it does that. It's really irritating. Comes
Note
back.
for everybody out there.
Yeah. All right. I don't think we can start a show without actually having the echo kick in 20 seconds later. Here's what we're talking about. What the heck is engagement broadcasting? Yes, I am actually watching my cuss words today. So what the heck is engagement broadcasting and Summer in Words conference at Cannon Beach, which is a no-brainer because the people that are going to be there. We've got one sponsor today. All right, two. But I want to talk about this one because this is the only one I made a picture for. Todd. Todd LeBeau is our sponsor today because without Todd, we wouldn't have pretty much any of the graphics that we're using right now. And Todd is also the key individual in all of the other projects we have going on right now because they involve graphics. And graphics are the singular piece that really make this look way better. I can't do them. Alex can't do them. And
Nope.
if we didn't have Todd, we wouldn't have anybody to do them for us. So thank you, Todd. You're our main sponsor today. We will be going through this, which is a presentation on branding and content marketing via engagement broadcasting. Just a short version of it. And we'll also be talking about the Summer in Words conference, which I don't have the page up right, and I should, and I feel really bad about it. But this guy, hi Alex, how you doing?
Hey.
This guy, Matt Love, he's the keynote speaker, and in the writing world, he's big cheese. So, hey everybody, we're gonna talk about that. Hi Alex.
Fun. Hi. Apparently, my Ready, Freddy comment is catching on.
It's kind of a dated comment. I mean,
Well, it's my dad. Anytime we would say like ready, he'd be like, "Ready, Freddy. I should have named you Freddy." Every single time throughout my whole childhood.
I'm really sorry.
Fun fact about my dad, he's weird.
And we have your sister here to verify these facts. Yes.
Yes, we do.
Who's remaining off camera, but we've paid her extra. What we're gonna have some gratuitous shots, just walking back and forth, right? Um,
Possibly, potentially.
Doing what we can to improve the quality of our programming, just like the networks would do. Bringing in some skin, um, you know, not about
You know,
content.
we're trying. Real fast, I'm gonna give a shout out to who we have in the audience so
Yay!
far that I've seen. Todd LeBeau, of course. David F. Leopold is
David!
out there. Says hello.
Hey!
Ron Snaberger checked in,
I've seen Ron before. How you doing there, Ron?
and Linda Hefferman did
Linda!
a couple of comments early on.
Sweet.
So she's
Hi,
she's
Linda.
out there too.
I can't wait. Oh, so Linda, if you're watching or paying attention at all or listening to this, whatever, we have to talk sometime next week. All sorts of cool things going down. And that connection we talked about with the School of Rock, yay. So let's do that. Let's use our live broadcast to just have messaging with the people we talk to in general. Let's just do that with the show. Why not? It's just public address. All right, we're leading off with the Summer in Words conference. What is this? Okay. First of all, it's in Cannon Beach in Oregon, and it's in June. It's coming up here real soon, which is great because if you've ever been to Cannon Beach in Oregon, it's beautiful. Artsy area, lots of cool stuff. Haystack Rock is there. It's this, everybody's taking pictures of Haystack Rock. As a matter of fact, no, I didn't load it in. Yeah, no, here we go. Here we go. I knew I had a shot. Here we go. That right there, everybody, that's Haystack Rock. That is a picture of Cannon Beach. That is where this will be. If you're anywhere in the Pacific Northwest, or you just feel like flying out here, come on out. I will be presenting at this conference, but I am no one of significance. The other people that are presenting at this conference are big names, all right, in the writing world, and some of them pretty amazing I'm going to get through them all, but this is a conference where you're hanging out at the beach in a beautiful area, talking with writers who are at the top of their game, people that have just made their mark in the publishing industry, just all sorts of expertise going on here, and it's not that expensive. Okay, the full meal deal is like $300. Okay, so this is a no-brainer. If you're up here, let's head on out there. We'll provide a link. Actually, I dropped it in the event. If you look at the event body, there's a link to the registration form. This is a low-tech kind of thing. Okay, Jessica Morrell runs this. She's fantastic. Jessica and I got connected at the Willamette Writers Conference, and then we hooked up again at the, what was it called? The Rose City Romance Writers Conference, and she's just a brilliant, brilliant woman. Has lots of wonderful things to say. No, I didn't mean it like that, you young, sick-minded individual. I see you smiling, saying that Jessica and I hooked up, and I'm 44. That word does not mean what it means to you. So I'm just gonna.
I'm sorry, I can't help it. I actually reshared a post of Gina's today, and I titled it "Man, I Have a Lot of Balls," because I thought that it would be. I was like, juggling balls, get your minds out of the gutter.
No, not when you say it like that. I did read. You did make a post several days ago about that. I thought it was brilliant, and I never commented on it, but it. You used the word balls, and I noticed nobody else commented. They're like, that's Alex. She said balls, and just gonna leave that alone. I know what it is. So far, no F-bombs today.
Shocking headlines make a difference.
They do. They absolutely do. Okay, now I've completely lost my place.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes. So, Cannon Beach, Haystack Rock, Summer in Words Conference. Let's go through some of the people of consequence that'll actually be there. This guy, Matt Love. Go read his full bio. But he's done a bunch of stuff, written a bunch of books, lives up here in Oregon. He knows what he's doing. And one of them is actually kind of a cool book. I'm going to have to move my notes aside here and look at the specific information. Give me 1 second here.
Well, and he's got a sweet last name. I mean,
Right.
I'd marry him for that last name.
And, he's not bad looking. I mean, he looked like definitely Portland kind of hipster looking guy,
Portland writer.
There you go. Okay, so his latest book is Rose City Heist, a true crime Portland tale of sex, gravy, jewelry, and almost rock and roll. Okay. Very cool. Right. Next person is this lovely lady here, and she is Karen Azinger. And she has a really long bunch of stuff, and it looks like she's got a very large medieval fantasy series that's pretty big, and she's really awesome. So you can talk to her. The next person on this list is a couple people. We have Kelly Williams Brown and Jessica Morrell. Okay, Kelly Williams Brown is the person I was talking about earlier, Alex. Who wrote the book Adulting, and that got turned into a series. Okay, and she was from the Willamette Writers Conference a couple years back, so she's local. She's up here. She's gonna be at this thing. So far I've mentioned some pretty big names, right? Matt Love, Karen Azinger, Kelly Williams Brown, Jessica Morrell. I mean, again, did I mention that it's $300? That it's at the beach? That these people are going to be there? This isn't a big event. There's not like hundreds and hundreds of people showing up to this. You're going to have time to sit down with these guys and have a cup of coffee. I mean, that's the kind of intimate setting we've got going on here. So, anything you want to add to that, Alice? Because I know you've been doing a lot of research and study on this.
No, I mean it sounds really cool especially if you're like a big part of the writing world. If that's like your thing, if that's what you do, it sounds like a really cool. Or if you want to get into the writing world, it sounds great. And you all get to meet John Ellis. You forgot the coolest guy that's going to be there.
I have a blurb on there. The sad thing about about my blurb is that I was in a hurry. I sent her a black and white photo. So you have all these nice, colorful photos of these people, and then my big, ugly black and white head from 2012 when I was like, it's just bad. Nobody wants to come see me. I'm going to be talking about Google Plus and all this stuff that everybody already knows about. It's really about getting some experience and just listening to these other amazing writers and authors. And I think what's happening with the event this year is that Jessica's added some kind of newer, some fresh material like me. And I will be talking a bit about personal branding. There's an entire course, personal branding for yourself and for your business, as well as engagement broadcasting. We'll talk about that as far as what it means and how everybody should tap into that. But I would go just to be at the beach, right? Looks
Well,
like
that's true. But I do warn for anyone that has been to a like a Hawaiian beach. Oregon beaches are very different. I had to
yeah,
learn that
yeah.
the hard way. Um, if it's like 80 degrees inland in Oregon, when you get to the beach, it could be like 55.
Yes, yes. And there are signs everywhere that just say riptides, don't swim, you'll die. Okay? Um, People swim and surf anyway, but only do that if you're like a decent swimmer and enjoy being in the ocean to like struggle for your life. Um, Otherwise, water's cold, and you're actually better off going during the spring, like now, when whales are out and hanging about, and and in fall when the storms come up, because the way the waves crash against the rocks, it's just gorgeous. But right now, there's this awesome window down at the coast, the Cannon Beach area, where it's warm and about as close as you're going to get to Hawaiian Beach as we can in Oregon, right? I mean, come on, Alex. It does get, warm enough for you to get in real quick and then scream and get out. So,
Yeah, I no, I like put my foot in and I was like, you guys are nuts. Oregonians will just go in.
yep.
They're just like, "Yep, I'm going to the beach. I'm going in the water." Mm-mm.
I swim in it all
Mm-mm.
the time. I swim in
Mm-mm.
the
You
Willamette.
guys,
People think that's insane, but
you guys are crazy. Oh, Linda Hefferman says that she's taken writing courses from Jessica Morel.
oh, awesome. There you go. So, okay. So, Linda, you are a phenomenal writer. You're taking courses from Jessica. That says something right there. Linda schooled my ass on writing. So she was the grammar queen when we were doing when the goal was very SEO oriented content that still wrote well. Boy, that was back in the day. Remember those times? I know you do, Linda.
Oh, I'm sure she does. David says, "What about a Cleveland beach?" I haven't been to the beach yet, David, so I don't know.
Do you, do you have one? Where's your beach?
I and I thought I was landlocked. I mean, there's like lakes. Does that still count as a
Yes.
beach?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a lake like I don't know. It's not too far north of me, but I haven't gone yet. But every time I watch the weather, they talk about the lake, and it's always a lot colder up there. So I
Yes.
don't know why I'd want to go up there.
Welcome to Lake Water. Yes, you're up there. You Hawaiian girl. I'm sorry, the water is not. It's just
No, I'm learning that. I'm learning that not everywhere is the water 70 degrees.
no, no. All right, moving on. I want to recognize a couple other people that are at this conference, and I have to get my slides together here. Um, Here we go. Bink, and let me look at the words. Yeah, this is not how newscasters do it, people. Scrolling through the list really quick. Kathy Lamb is the person we're showing right now. She's written 8 novels and 6 short stories. They've been published. Yes, just another one. Kathy Lamb. All these people are huge. And let's see, we've got Randall Platt. There's no picture for Randall Platt, but he's there, and he's going to be talking. And then one of my favorite sweethearts. Let's get her picture up. She's the last one. Dink. Laurel Van Fossen. She'll be there. She'll be speaking. If you don't know who Laurel is, she is Laurel on WordPress. She's kind of a legend for those of us who've been working with WordPress since the beginnings and in the development world, because she really started at the beginning with Matt Mullenweg, traveling around, talking about WordPress. If you wanna talk to a woman who really knows the history of content management systems and more about the internal workings of WordPress than any other human being, probably other than Matt Mullenweg, this is your woman. And not only that, but she's been working this world, so she understands the relationship between website and brand and person and all those great things. So she's the last person on the list. Love her, seen her all over the place. She's great. She actually teaches WordPress courses, and I'm not going to remember the name of the college, but it's a college right up here in the Pacific Northwest, so she's local to us. And yeah, Laurel, I didn't get the name right, and I'm sorry. So there's
And
what?
she's on Google Plus, by the way, and
Yes, she
she's
is.
active and she's really nice. So hit her up, talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Hope she responds.
Yes, yes, yes. So, all right. Well, there we are. I ran through that. 16 minutes, Alex. That's not bad.
And David put in all caps about the Cleveland Beach, don't go. And I said, is it that bad? And he was all caps, yes. So I guess I'm not going to the beach.
I could see it, not being that great. I bet you're right there, David. In Colorado, we lived. I grew up in Littleton. We had Chatfield Dam, and Chatfield Dam was basically a circle of water that had a constant sheen of motor oil and boat engine gas on top of it, and that was our swimming area. For a little while as a kid, we had the Platte River.
There's a river here that caught on fire.
No,
It's a river that runs through Kent. Maybe David knows more about this because he grew up in this area. But yeah, there's a river that runs through Kent, and everyone's like, "That's the river they caught on fire." I'm like, I don't even want to know. That's messed up. A river shouldn't catch on fire.
gee, I wonder what. I want to know. Catch on fire. Trees catch on fire. Water because it's packed with chemicals. Yeah, that would be interesting to find out.
Yeah, David, if you know anything about that, just
All
leave it in
right.
the comments.
Well,
Yeah.
all right. Then I'm gonna.
Let's
I'm
go
gonna.
with what we were really going to talk about today.
What? What were we really going to talk about today?
This engagement broadcasting.
Oh, okay. So here it is, engagement broadcasting. But you guys are only getting like a tease, right? So this is all super secretive stuff. This is what I've been spending most of my time on. This is why I haven't been very active in social media. This is why Alex and I really don't have our crap together with the brand, and why everything's been in flux. As a matter of fact, the SEOwise.co site is not even up right now. We took it down because we had a wonderful experience last week with a complete denial of service attack on the SEOwise domain. Which, thank you, whoever you were in China. We actually traced back the IP. It had something to do with China. Thank you so much for costing us a whole bunch of money and a lot of time on that. I will repay you the favor someday. That's not the point. So anyway, it redirects to Portland Internet Design right now because I have to deal with it. And that's just one of our things. But it's okay because we now know exactly what we do. We do engagement broadcasting. What is that? Let's find out. All right. I know that was a big lead in and then I don't have the right picture. Here we go. So businesses have this problem. You have product managers and brand buyers, and they want to connect directly with consumers, with customers. And brands spend a lot of money trying to do this. Whether it's, we're going to meet you at your local store, or we're going to set up a facility somewhere and ask you to come there, or we're going to fly around the country, whatever it is, they want to, when they want to do focus groups, which is essentially what this is for them. We want to get a bunch of people that might buy these products and find out what they like and don't like about these products, why they would buy them, why they wouldn't buy them. Okay? The purpose here is obviously twofold. They want to sell more of the product, so they want to know what it is about the product that you want, but they also want to make the product better. It really is it's supposed to be a feedback loop. But something happened, prior to the web, that feedback loop was non-existent. It's like, here's the brand and there's the consumer. The web gave us the ability to have a feedback loop, but no brand really knew how to utilize it all that well. Social media gave us a way to utilize it, but nobody was really talking to each other. And then we had Google Hangouts, right? Then we started to understand that between Skype and Hangouts and these other communication mediums that we could converse, and we could do it in real time, and we could do it anytime we wanted, and we could do it with people around the world. And customers, we in the Plus world, we know this. We've been figuring it out. We're chatting with each other all the time, making relationships. But we're trying to get brands to understand that they're not listening. We want to have a conversation with the brand. Well, that's not broadcasting, right? What it is an engagement broadcast studio, because you've got to blend those two. You have to have the conversation, and then you have to broadcast the conversation so that you can engage people that aren't within the conversation. And we have that ability now. The focus is around the engagement. So the focus is around the why and the what. Why are we doing this? What do we hope to gain out of this on both sides? It's not about entertainment. It's not about PR. Those things are a part of it. Those things happen, but those are value adds. It's really about the communication, Alex, between the brands and the customer. And we now have a way to make that connection, to make those communications happen, so that people in their homes can communicate with brand managers in wherever the heck they happen to be.
But why would people in their homes want to do that?
So you've never had reason to want to tell any big brand why you didn't like one of their products?
Well, yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, like, I can see the brand point of view,
Mm-hmm.
the what they get out of it. But I think it's important to talk about what the consumer gets out of it. I mean, if they sit there and listen to what I say, are they actually going to listen? Or are they just saying that they're listening? How does this sort of medium change this idea of listening? What are you doing?
I need the mirror.
Okay.
Well, that was a great question, Alex. And we see you back there. But that's
No, it's okay. You're covered. You're covered.
that's
You're
okay. No, she's good. That's, great question. And that's what we're bringing together. Right? Because engagement isn't all that fun if there isn't a bigger purpose to it. So if we can bring consumers, us, together with brands, right? When a brand calls it a focus group, we're like, I don't want to be in a focus group. What are you giving me for that? What's my incentive, right? I don't want to listen to you ask me questions. So what are we doing about this engagement to make it interesting? How can we make it an experience where everybody gets something out of it and enjoys it? Right? That's the missing piece. But we can tie all that together now. So here's a concept scenario. It's a cooking show for a charity with a celebrity host from the web who's a chef. Yeah, we know a few, like Larry and Dennis and I don't know, a couple other people. But you bridge these two. You get a brand involved to supply the food. You get consumers who are interested in talking to that chef, learning about what's going on. Right? Now you've got an experience. You've got a chef working with the food. You've got consumers that are interested in the product. You've got a brand supplying that product. You've got an environment where you can actually get people to relax, ask them questions, and have a good time. So for the brand, you're going to get what you need. You're going to get the information from the customer, probably a lot more than you thought, and it's actually going to be a lot more natural because you're putting them in an environment where they can be natural instead of a classroom environment where they feel like they're being drilled. The customers are going to get a lot out of this. This is a one-to-one connection at this level that we're talking at, right? In the Hangout. So at the very core of engagement, brands are building one-to-one relationships with individuals who buy their products. They're building evangelists. Yeah, I'm taking that right out of your mouth, Guy Kawasaki, but you borrowed a few of mine, so we'll just leave it at that. We're building evangelists, okay?
So wait. You're saying that this is actually a win-win scenario.
I am.
OMG. Didn't know that could happen. David Amerlin is out in the audience, which is exciting.
Hey,
We're
David.
happy to see David. He says, John Ellis, it's about the communication. You're right, because if brands do not let people know who they are, people will no longer have any desire to trust them.
Whee! Yes, David. Words could not have been spoken better. I'm sure that's right in your book. Yep, it's about the communication. Thank you.
That's the book that we will read
Hey, I've been reading it.
next week.
We,
I'm a grad student. I read a book in a day.
Yeah, I know. I have to start mine early. So yes, absolutely right, David. It's about the communication, the connection, and that connection can now be scaled to any level. We can do a one-to-one connection within a Hangout. We can do the second tier of that using chat from any medium, and we can do a third tier where it's passive, right? They're just watching. But what's cool about this is it's like electrons. They can bounce in and out of layers. Yeah, I went physics there. So any of you out there in the physics world, you know what I'm talking about. Electrons can move between layers, but it takes energy.
Do you want to change this shot to you?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm talking about this and getting all passionate about it. I forget to change shots. Thanks, Alex.
No,
Boom.
I know.
There we go.
There we go.
Just so you guys know, I did a different setup today. I normally have a TV shot up here and a bunch of other things going on, but because of what we're gearing up to do in the next several weeks, I've had to rearrange everything. So it's a little different setup today, and I apologize for the poor production. So moving in between these layers, and that goes back to the other picture that I had, which I need to find now, and it's there. Bink! There's the layers. Okay. And here's a much bigger picture of the layers. The inner layer is what we're talking about here. Right? The level 1 engagement, where everybody's connected in the Hangout. That's where you're building evangelists. The level 2 engagement is outside of that. That's people in comments from anywhere. And level 3 is passive viewers. But a passive viewer can start commenting, and a commenter can be invited into the Hangout. Right? And if you're taking this farther, right? If you're taking this beyond just use within the Google world and use with Hangouts, the systems that we have allow us to bridge any of them. I can bring in a Hangout, I can bring in a Skype call, I can bring in any other medium as long as I have a computer that's connected with that medium. The interfaces that we use, the hardware that we use, doesn't care where that comes from. I just pull it in, we present the broadcast, and it happens. So we now have the ability to make this happen, and we can do it at a cost point that's so much lower than what broadcast networks have been doing. Like, take away 3 zeros. Literally, that's what it's come down to. So this is what engagement broadcasting is. Let's take a look at the next slide. Any questions out there on this, Alex? Or people want to know what the hell I'm talking about?
Not yet. We're good so far.
Okay. So this is level 1 engagement. I'm just going to leave this up so that we all understand what's happening here. From an engagement broadcast studio, we can have people live in the studio. That would include a celebrity engager. So we were talking about the food show. So let's say it's a food show, and we're focusing on Tyson food products, and we've got Larry Fenelier, and he is making some Caribbean dishes using Tyson food selections. We have remote production. That's me in Portland, Oregon. We have potential customers from pretty much anywhere in the world watching. But this could be targeted to a local demo. This could be targeted to something for a local community. It just depends on what you want to do with it. We have the brand voice in social media. That would be Alex. And this voice is working this event before, during, and after. I've got an example of Skype callers coming in, Google Hangout coming in. The brand could come in from a branch office somewhere else. All of these things get pulled together for an experience that provides what the brand needs and the customers want. A conversation that answers everybody's questions and improves the product and the experience for everybody. Yeah, it's kind of like Rainbow La La Land because it actually does help everybody. Tell me where the non-win-win is in this, Alex. You know?
Yeah, fair enough. It does, but whenever anybody talks about the win-win situation, we're like, that's not possible.
Well, okay, granted. See, now what's supposed to happen here is you're supposed to keep talking, and I'm supposed to use that shot. You just stop.
Okay, well, Annabelle Howard, it looks like, has showed up. So, hey, Annabelle. And again, if anybody has any questions about what about what John's talking about, Todd's like, I'm like talking to Todd in the event. He's like sending me private messages to make me laugh. It's just so much Todd right now.
This is part of what Todd does. It's very helpful.
I know.
We appreciate it.
I know. This. He did, a while ago, he did say, OMG, I have been replaced by, is it Giphy graphics?
Gliffy. Yes, I responded to that, and yes, I made these lovely graphics in Gliffy.
And he said, see what outsourcing gets you, John Ellis.
This is this is a Gliffy Chrome extension. I love it, and now it's a desktop app. It's free. It allowed me to make those things. So that's all we need. This is the engagement before, during, and after. So if you're a brand, business, and the problem that you had connecting directly with your consumers and understanding their needs on a one-to-one, one-to-many level and anywhere in between. Okay, if you get that and that's the problem we had to solve for you, then we're done. And for a lot of businesses, that might be it. That's all you have to solve is how do we communicate? But if you're also looking at the long-term picture, the engagement, the value of that engagement, how it ties into your authorship, your all-around keyword space, and you on the web as a corporation, then you need to be looking at this other picture, which has the really, really cool circles all over it, which basically explains that somebody like Alex would start PR for the event well before. Then during the live event, you've got engagement within the Hangout. But all those little gray circles, all of that engagement is happening. It's happening before, during, and after for the life of the web. This stuff can keep going. That kind of a footprint, that kind of value is immense. It can't even be measured because you're actually in control of the value. You want more? Then push it more. Take those videos, chop it up into smaller sections and redistribute, but you are in control of what you do to distribute and market this piece of content that you've created. That's powerful. That's what we're doing. You're taking engagement that you've made interesting and fun, you're broadcasting it, and then you're utilizing that broadcast, not only during the live event, the pre and the post, but you've got yourself a piece of content, video content, that can be used in any number of ways. Right, Alex? What are the different ways video can be used?
Well, a lot. But first, I want you to answer this comment from David Amerlin. He says, John Ellis, love what you're analyzing here. Here's the rub. That approach cannot easily work yet in the highly structured, compartmentalized environment of most corporations. So a level of education is required. And I think that is definitely that's something that we've definitely run into.
Absolutely. And David, I can't thank you enough for bringing that up. I can't reveal, I don't think I can reveal. Let's put it this way. There are collaboration centers popping up all over. And I'm sure, David, you've actually been to some of these. Google is apparently building them. We're talking with one of these collaboration centers right now. They're in the perfect place to understand what we're doing and to facilitate it because they built their facility. It's got cameras all over. They're designed for closed communication, and they've got the infrastructure to handle broadcasting. So you're absolutely right. Most brands are not going to want to grab onto this directly. However, collaboration centers are in a unique position to offer this service, once they have a service provider, to offer this service to brands and to facilitate that. So, for instance, let's say you had a facility designed to handle corporate meetings, meetings between vendors and brand buyers to look at their products and things. You know what these places are like, David. So let's just say one of those places had been approached and said, we will facilitate engagement broadcasting. You lease us the space, we put it in your facility, we take care of it between your customers. These facilities are designed to, what they want is tenants, right? They want big brands to come in, lease space, so that instead of the brands meeting with their buyers, their vendors, and doing focus groups in their offices, they're doing I'm at this lovely facility that's been designed to facilitate the experience. So by having this value add, we now can say, we're offering you web broadcasting that is engagement based. You tell us, Mr. Brand, what you want. What do you want to get out of this focus group? And we will put together the experience and facilitate it here. Okay. So brands, I don't expect brands to figure that out. Collaboration centers, not a problem. And that's how we'll bridge the two worlds. And I'd love any feedback you have in that regard on your experiences with that. But we'll talk about this next week, David. And yeah, I gotta tell you some stuff because it's been really cool where we've seen this work and solving that singular problem. Brands connecting to customers. Right there, that's what this does. This solves that problem. So, and yes, I'm sure there are other things that are going to come up that are going to be barriers to entry or whatever, but we'll figure those out. Right now, I think we've gotten over the major ones. Anything else pop up after that, Alex?
Well, Todd LeBeau said yet is the key word there. David Leopold said we need to have a one-to-one conversation, and Todd rebutted one-to-one or many-to-many.
Sure. I mean, when you've got a celebrity and a brand manager in with 5 guests who are consumers, you know, 5-to-1 ratio, 1-to-5 ratio, and of course there's going to be individual conversation happening there. I think from a brand's perspective, it's an economy of scale. And yes, I want to build one-to-one relationships, but I don't need 100,000 of those. I need enough of those to be evangelists for me. How many? Well, that depends on my market push, right? So yeah, you're right. We need one-to-ones. We need 1-to-5s. We need 1-to-10s, 1-to-100s, 1-to-1000s. But we can design the experience to accommodate the ratio that the brand is after. And I think that's the most important point, other than Alex looking bored out of her mind while I sit here and ramble. Here, let's do this shot. The most
Sorry.
important point, no, it's quite all right. I know I'm just, exciting. This is about this is about the why and the what, not about the entertainment. This is about why do you want to do this? Why are we doing this? And what does the brand want out of it? What does the consumer want out of it? And we tailor the engagement. We create the show around that. We grab the right celebrity chef or the right celebrity from wherever. We grab the right demographic. We grab the right people. We put it together. This is cooking. This is a recipe, right? This is production. This is a whole new way of communicating with each other and making it fun, and then taking that and doing more with it, right? So I agree. I went off a long time on that, but there's just so many possibilities here. It's got my mind on fire, and it's really cool. So, all right, ramble. No energy here, Alex. I only had like 500 cups of tea. No energy here.
It's okay. It's okay. You can have all the excitement for us. I think just from a communication perspective, I think the most important thing to take away from that is that it's no longer a one-to-many scenario. We're talking about a one-to-one or a many-to-many. We're not talking about simply broadcasting a message with no return engagement. That's the big thing to take away from it. Whether it is one-to-one or whether it's many-to-many or
Yes.
anything in between, you're doing a conversation rather than a broadcast. That's the big difference.
Yes, that's it. And conversation broadcasting just didn't sound as good as engagement.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. You're right. That was a good branding choice. Annabelle Howard says, I want to see this sort of engagement working in the education K through 12 space. Let's bring academic content creators, site-specific experiences, students all over the world, teachers, curriculum directors, principals, district people, school boards, and parents into Hangouts.
Here. Absolutely. That's there is no limit to this. That's what I like about this. The connecting the dots that I talk about all the time. How do we connect this dot to that dot? I don't see any barriers there. We can connect whatever dots you want. And I agree with you, Annabelle. We need to connect school systems, teachers, parents, students, product developers, executives. They all need to be connected because it feels like nobody really is communicating with each other. There's an awful lot of talk back and forth. Maybe if we got them face to face in this environment, we'd get shit done. Ooh, said an expletive. All right.
I know. What happened to the no swearing? Come on, dude. I think that the interesting thing about the education space is that I think it runs into this a similar barrier that David Amerlin brought up for large corporations. I think there is, there's a kind of a learning curve that we haven't had to work with in a long time, and now the education system has to find a way to catch up.
Yeah, big time. Big time. But I think we're forcing that. I think people like Annabelle force it. Right? When we plow ahead and then say, all right, whatever you say, institution and government and funding, we're just going to do it this way because we see a value to this. And when she can do what she does and gather the resources she can, it's just amazing. I mean, you and I both know, and those are the kind of programs, those are the kind of things that shouldn't be struggling. They should be funded and done. Right? And I'm not going to go down that, but that's an example of this change. And I think I said it to Annabelle this morning. She was showing us I'm going to talk about it, but I won't tell anybody where it is. She was showing us an Italian video that they had done about Macbeth. These kids got together, made their own video. Okay? It's really kind of cool.
Aw.
It,
Was it just adorable? I imagine
it
it's just adorable.
older than that, not adorable. Actually, kind of high school age, a little more. Okay, but still cool. I just wouldn't call it adorable because they'd probably not like you for that. But it's well done. It's a modernized version of Macbeth. Eh, You know, but what's really cool isn't the fact that they did it. What's cool is the fact that they were inspired to do it by the engagement Annabelle created through the entire experience. They wouldn't have cared to make a video if they hadn't been so on fire with being involved in Macbeth Goes Social to begin with. So there's this pattern here. When you get kids excited about learning, they do more with it. When learning isn't sitting on your ass in front of a chalkboard for 8 hours a day, you might actually be involved with it and learn more. And that's what Annabelle is bringing back to education. You know, we took it and brought it down to the lowest common denominator. Sit here. It'll cost us 5 cents a day for you to learn in this system, which is really kind of sad. We need systems like Annabelle's, and we need to take that concept and make it our shining achievement. I'd like a B-2 bomber for education. In other words, something that complex, that amazing. That's an incredible machine. Somebody make one of those for education, please. And let's put that kind of funding into it. Wait a minute. Annabelle kind of did. If you haven't looked at what she's done with Big Fun Education, if you haven't looked at her play structure and what she's got going on there, it's amazing. It's complex. It's advanced learning, and it's fun. Okay. All right. Just needs the $2 billion funding. All right. I ran off on that, and yes, Annabelle, that was all about your stuff. Here, we're going to look at a presentation slide. Video is top tier content. I just want to make sure everybody understands that from one video you can make a podcast and a blog post and a transcript and chop your video up into smaller segments, and that all of this counts as a footprint on the web for your space. Yay. Next slide. Is Todd talking back to you?
Yeah, it's all good.
1:43. We're actually going to finish this on time.
No way.
Yeah. We're going to end the show on time, people. I think it's going to be a first.
Awesome.
All right, next slide is this one. What are we measuring here? We're measuring the metrics that matter. This is a very important distinction that brands are going to have to understand. If they're not just after the connection, if they're not just after the relationship between the customer, and they're actually looking at the longer footprint, what does this value have to me? There we go. There's the extra shot. Bye. She wasn't even on camera. Didn't get anything out of that. Oh, well. Here. I back up here. Ding, ding, ding. There we go. That shot. So, we're not... This is a broadcast, but you're measuring a bunch of different things within it. The one-to-one relationships that you're building, that's a pretty big no-brainer. If a brand can't see the value there, I don't know how we can go any farther. The information that they're gathering within those experiences, there's a value right there. All right. So the marketing guy, the person who's looking to get that focus group data, you're getting it. Now, what else do you get having created a broadcast? Well, you've got views. Views are the first metric we're going to look at. That's what we're looking at with video. How many views, and of those views, how much time did they watch? Right? So views and minutes watched. That ratio is the same kind of thing when we were looking at how many pages or how many views to this landing page and how long did they stay there. Right? Like we're talking about website analytics. Same thing. How long did they watch this video? How many people watched it? The really, really important distinction for brands within this piece of content is that the live views are not quite as important as the long-term effect, the long-term views, right? And obviously for different brands it's gonna change. But if you're here, Alex, I'll give you a break from having you look interested. If you're concerned about live views and what goes on during the live broadcast, then you can focus on that. But it doesn't need to be your focus, because You can redistribute this, reshare it, post it on out. We've got videos that you'll notice a heartbeat every time it gets recognized or something happens in the media. And we've talked about this before. When an influencer picks up a post, influencer does anything like this, you see it pick up in views, right? Because we're a DVR nation now. We like to watch things when we want to watch them. It's not a push marketing world. It's a pull, right? So if I'm subscribed to you, I will watch that when I damn well feel like it. But I subscribe to you, so don't worry, I'm going to watch it. So views become a very important marker. Cost per view and the amortization of cost per view is something that brands will need to think about. If they're spending an initial chunk of cash on the show, on the engagement, then one of the ways they can measure the success is how long did it take for the cost per view to get to some negligible number, and the brand is going to have to figure out what that is, right? But where does it come to where they feel it's paid for itself based on the longevity of that? It's just like any other SEO effort. This is long-term burn when we're talking about engagement here. Okay. Once you've built a channel, though, and you've got a decent subscription base, then you've got the live view action, and you have both, the best of both worlds. Is anybody still there, or are they all counting Z's? Because I'm going through some of the boring stuff, I know.
I know this is stuff that I'm like, analytics, I don't care. But actually, David Amerlin said, video is top tier content, yay, and it's totally disruptive in how we can now communicate across the web thanks to 1, HOAs, 2, semantic search indexing of relational connections, and 3, Google's increasing understanding of speech. This is an awesome presentation. David appreciates your presentation because he understands the number stuff, I'm sure. Phil Boyer showed up. He said, "Sorry, I'm late, guys. Looks like I'm gonna have to hit the replay."
Hey,
I just jokingly, I was like, "You just showed up for all the good stuff. Lucky you."
No, there's not a lot more of this. David, wow, honored. Thank you. And I've got some questions for you on this stuff because I know you're way more in touch with how close Google is with the speech to text. I know they're indexing the content, but I really want to get some details from you on how close they are to indexing that accurately. And, one of my favorite things, I've got a slide of this, is that we show the transcript. Google creates a transcript. The words are already there. And my favorite piece about that is you can scan through it, click on the line, and it'll take you right to that line in the video. When we think about the way we access information and the speed at which we can find what we're looking for, this is revolutionary, right? This is the barrier here is not the technology. The barrier is getting the consumer to understand how to use it. This is my favorite barrier, right? It's not the browser, people. It's you understanding how it works. Relearn, unlearn, relearn. Everybody got to be doing a lot of unlearning, okay? This year, it's all about unlearning and relearning that video and video communication, live video communication is it. This is the top tier for businesses. You want to communicate with your customers? Do it this way. Okay? It's actually affordable. The barrier to entry used to be cost. No longer a barrier to entry. The true barrier to entry is your understanding the technology and what it does and how it can benefit you. There are nerds like me to help you understand that, and David Leopold and David Amerlin and a whole bunch of other people out there, right? But just grasping that this is where it's at, that's the first step, okay? I don't even know where I'm rambling on that. I'm all excited about this stuff. David, you get my mind going. Can't wait to talk to you next week. And we're going to have Craig and Chris on that too, right? No, not Craig and Chris. Canada Gold. I get all these people mixed up. Tell everybody about that.
About Friday?
Yes, next Friday.
So we're going to be talking to David Amerland about his most recent book about Hangouts for Business. And we're bringing in Canada Gold to offer the business perspective. They recently came into Google+, so they're still kind of getting their footing in this new platform, and they're doing a great job. But it'll be interesting to have, the expert David Amerlin talking about Hangouts for Business, and then having the business perspective of what it's like to come in here. And then we will be there at the end to again, talk about engagement broadcasting and taking Hangouts and taking them one, maybe two levels up.
Perfect. Thank you. And I think this will be a great opportunity for us to talk with, like you said, Canada Gold and David Amerlin. This way, let's address the issues, right? David mentioned that there's, a lot of the problems with brands right now is how do we get involved with this? We're a little scared about that, showing that person, about the representation. And this is something that we've talked a lot about with Greg Nielsen and Victor at Canada Gold. Like any business, they want to make sure they come in right. They want to make sure they're doing things correctly, and they don't, that's worrisome for a brand. So this will be a great conversation. I know David's going to shed a lot of light on the use of business hangouts, and I'm just really excited about it. It's the only thing I'm thinking about, honestly. So next week, let me see the other slide I had up here. And no, Alex, I swear to God, I did not do like a whole bunch of coke before we started the show. I'm just like.
I'm really glad that you were saying that on camera. Don't worry, guys. We're not doing drugs, at least the illegal ones.
No, lots and lots of caffeine and just in a good mood. That's all. Seriously, engagement statistics or engagement metrics. These are the real engagement metrics that matter. Really, these are all just taken directly from the YouTube analytics. There's definitely other systems and ways to measure, but at first you don't need those systems. What you need, we don't want that slide. What you need is just analytics, just the base analytics to understand who's looking at stuff. Are they subscribing? Are they liking it? What are they doing with it? They're just the basics. But that engagement, that footprint, that means more than anything else, because over the lifetime of your business, the lifetime of your existence on the web, every single video you do, every time you chop it up and reshare it and push it out and talk about it and edit the summary, everything you do with that is yet another piece of content, another addition to your footprint that can be engaged upon. So,
speaking of engagement,
yes.
the comments in this event are just blowing up, and it's awesome. Thank you so much, guys. David Amerlin gave us a little bit of a tidbit. He said, speech recognition is advancing at quantum speed. Frame-by-frame entity recognition is also in the works. Interesting times to live in, indeed.
Ooh.
So a little bit of a tease of how far they are. Linda Hefferman says, any thoughts on translation? We have some internal communications we're trying to solve with training our non-English speaking instructors in our international schools.
Ooh. That's a good question, Linda, and let's just mark that down to ask David about that next week.
Okay.
I know Google Translate is doing some stuff. I don't know how well it does. I know that at I/O 2013, Google demoed a very lovely speech-to-text that was working in real time, and it was somebody talking in English, and it was being translated in Chinese. I have no idea how close that is, but maybe it's one of those Google services that's out there buried in their 1,000 services that we can find. So that's a great question, and I would imagine that that technology.
That's David Amerlin question, right?
Totally.
He knows everything.
He would know. He'll definitely know more about the technology and what's going on there. I think, like I said, in 2013, I heard it demoed, and it was insane. Like, I don't know which Google executive it was, but he's all talking, and here's a group of Chinese individuals, and I think it was Mandarin, like I know, but whatever. You see the words show up on the screen, you hear them being talked back, like within a few seconds delay, and the Chinese audience was obviously understanding. They didn't get up and start throwing shit at him, so they obviously understood what he was saying. My understanding is that Chinese Mandarin is one of the most difficult languages on planet Earth, and so if Google is managing to translate that and not piss off people who understand Chinese Mandarin, then that's a pretty good sign. So
good job, them. Annabelle Howard asks a question that actually I'm curious about, and I don't know if David could answer this one. Will Google Alerts soon be able to tell you if someone talked about you and or your work in a Hangout?
Wow. Yeah. So that is an interesting. That is great question.
Yeah.
That ties into Google Translate, Google's transcripting, their speech to text, their ability to recognize what's being said. I know that they can identify the names within it, okay? I'm sure they could figure out a way to alert you. How they know for certain that it's your name and you and not somebody else, I don't know yet.
Unless you have a weird name like mine.
Well, okay, but I'm fairly certain they can't write a script that says if weird name, if
Yeah,
not, right?
right.
So,
But
all right,
no, that's a really good, like, if someone mentions John Ellis,
yeah,
how do they know which?
they
Like,
would,
we'll just alert all of the John Ellises and see which one it is.
they would piss off a physicist, a sax player, and a nutcase before they get to me, nutcase number two. So, yeah, that wouldn't work. Great question, and you need to be taking notes because we're gonna have to ask all these to David next week.
You know, I don't have to take notes because they're in the comments and they're saved, and I'm just going to transfer them.
And they're in the transcript too, right? So,
Yes.
all right. I want you to. We have to do that. We have to check the transcript on this and see how accurate it is. I know it's been
Yeah,
getting better.
they mess up sometimes. And it's funny when they mess up because it's just like they just put a bunch of words or they'll just put like a bunch of stars because they're like, I don't know what was said.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say back in the day anymore. When the transcript first started, it was really bad, and there were videos actually made of just how bad it was. So that's a lot of improvement happening there. There are no other slides. Is your sister being goofy? Is that what's going on?
She like spilled some pink liquid on my carpet and I just hear her like, uh-oh.
Step into the frame. And Ariel, step into the frame, please.
Am I there?
No, I'm gonna, yeah, there you are.
Oh.
Everybody, this is Alex's sister, whose name is not Ariel. It's say it again,
Ari.
Ari. But you love Ariel, right? No, just kidding.
Oh, there it is.
There.
I keep thinking that's the camera.
No,
No,
that.
Right.
that.
So everybody, this is Alex's sister. Say hi.
Yes, and maybe we should end on that note because we only have 2 minutes. You
Yeah.
said on time, right?
We're gonna end on time. So let's see. We'll stop just looking at you. And are there any other questions from anybody?
Just a conversation about what we just talked about. But if there are any other questions about this kind of stuff, totally leave them in the comments, guys, and we'll just throw them at David Amerland on
Yes,
Friday. Lucky David.
We'll just load them up and we'll go through them.
Yep.
So what I'd like to do though is make them. Hopefully they're not questions you've been asked a billion times before. Let's make them really. We'll pick the really good ones. So just a reminder, everybody, go to Cannon Beach. $300 to see all those people, Matt Love and Laurel Van Fossen and Jessica Morel and I mean that's a pretty large group of big name authors in one small little place on the beach. Well worth your time to go. Alex, if you were out here, you'd be going. So remember, do that. I'll be there, so at least we can hang out and chat on the beach. And yes, I will be swimming in that ocean. And then engagement broadcasting. If you want to know more about that, let me know. Next week when we talk to David Amerlin, we will talk about business hangouts. We will clearly define the difference between a hangout on air, and engagement broadcasting, and understanding the differences because there are value and uses for all three. And businesses can kind of create the levels they want to be at and utilize this content marketing, which is really what it is. This is content marketing for the purpose of engagement. Businesses will be able to understand the differences and see how we work together. So yeah, thanks for joining us. This has been Office Hours Friday edition. Alex, you want to say anything to everybody and wrap it up?
We do plan on having. Do we plan? No, this Wednesday we're not doing another Wednesday show, right? We're currently changing the format of the Wednesday show, so we're not going to be doing those for a while. But we will continue the Friday show that generally does an interview. This was a special one because we're doing a whole lot of other projects. So keep an eye out for those where we'll be working with other people. Don't worry, you won't have to listen to us. You'll have to listen to them.
Producing other people's shows, not rattling on our own. Okay.
No,
So
that's what our shows are for. The other shows we just produce them.
Thank you very much, everybody. Linda and David and I don't know who else was in there, but Todd and
And Todd and Phil and Annabelle, and I
Yes,
didn't
yes,
see
yes.
Ron show up in the comments, but he did check in. So
Sweet. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you next week and sooner if we already have scheduled meetings. This is the Friday edition of Office Hours. That's Alex. I'm John. And we're going to go have a good weekend. I suggest you do the same. Bye.